The late Sunday sun filtered through the net curtains of the bay window in the living room of a tidy semi-detached house in West Bryontiawam, a leafy suburb of Bristol. Outside, the hum of distant traffic and the occasional chime of a bicycle bell drifted through the quiet street. Inside, the house smelled faintly of roast chicken and lavender fabric softener, comforting, familiar, British suburban life distilled into scent. Lily sat curled on the corner of the grey L-shaped sofa, barefoot, her phone resting on her lap. She wore her favourite outfit, a soft, slightly faded lavender t-shirt and well-worn light blue jeans that hugged her frame just right. At 20, she was home from university in Exeter for the weekend, supposedly to do laundry and catch up on sleep, though really, she missed the rhythm of this house, the kettle whistling, her dad's low chuckle over the football highlights, her mum's gentle humming as she watered the spider plant in the hallway. But today, the usual calm felt fragile. Earlier that afternoon, while making tea in the kitchen, she'd overheard her parents speaking in hushed but tense tones at the dining table. She'd paused in the doorway, unnoticed, and listened. "It's not just the contract," her dad had said, running a hand through his greying hair. "It's the timing. If we can't cover the boiler service and the car tax by next month, we'll manage," her mum replied, though her voice lacked its usual certainty. "We always do. There's one thing." Dad hesitated. "Lily's study abroad fund. It's just sitting there. She hasn't even applied to go next year. Maybe we dip into it, just temporarily." Lily's stomach dropped. Study abroad fund? She'd never known such a thing existed. Her parents always said travel would be when you earn it, and she'd accepted that without question. Now, to learn they'd been quietly saving for her only to consider using it for bills, filled her with a confusing mix of gratitude and guilt. Before she could decide whether to step in and say something, her mum's voice lowered further. "Don't tell her yet. Not until we're sure." Lily had slipped away, heart pounding, and buried herself in her phone for the next 2 hours, pretending nothing happened. At dinner, roast chicken, steamed greens, Yorkshire puddings gone slightly soggy, her mum glanced at her and asked casually, "Did you hear us talking earlier, love?" Lily froze. The fork in her hand felt suddenly heavy. She looked down at her plate and shook her head silently, not meeting either of their eyes. "No," she murmured. Her dad frowned. "You sure? Sounded like you were in the hall." "I was upstairs," she lied quickly, voice tight. But the damage was done. Her dad exchanged a look with her mum, a look full of suspicion and hurt. "You told her, didn't you?" he asked mum, voice low but sharp. "Of course not," mum replied, startled. "I just said, then why is she lying?" Dad cut in, pushing his plate away. "She was right there. I saw her shadow under the kitchen door." Mum turned to Lily, eyes wide. "Lily, did you hear us?" Lily stayed silent, jaw clenched, eyes fixed on her lap. She wanted to vanish. That silence, small, almost invisible, unleashed everything. "You knew," Dad said, voice rising now, "and you said nothing. And now you're pretending? After everything we've done for you?" "I didn't mean to," Lily started, but her voice cracked. "You didn't mean to what?" Dad snapped. "Not mean to eavesdrop? Not mean to let your mum take the blame? Or not mean to make me feel like a fool?" Mum tried to intervene, "She's just scared, David," but Dad wasn't listening. The argument spiraled, years of unspoken stress about money, about adult children still needing support, about trust. And at the center of it all was Lily's silence, the quiet choice that made her parents feel like strangers to each other. By the time Dad stormed out to the garage, the kitchen felt colder than winter. Lily remained at the table, trembling, her untouched pudding congealing beside her plate. Her mum sat heavily in her chair, eyes closed, one hand pressed to her temple. After a long silence, Mum opened her eyes and looked at Lily, really looked at her. Not with anger, but with a deep, aching disappointment. "Come into the living room," she said quietly. Lily followed, dragging her feet like a child. She perched on the edge of the sofa again, hands clasped in her lap, still in her lavender t-shirt and jeans, looking small despite her height. Mum sat opposite her in the armchair, posture straight, voice measured. "Lily, do you understand what happened tonight?" "I didn't want to cause trouble," Lily whispered. "But you did," Mum replied gently but firmly. "Your silence didn't keep the peace, it shattered it. Your dad thinks I went behind his back. He thinks you're being deceitful. And worst of all, he thinks our family doesn't talk honestly anymore." Lily's eyes filled with tears. "I was scared," she said. "I didn't know what to say." "I know you were," Mum said, softening slightly. "But you're not 15 anymore, Lily. You're 20. And in this house, when something affects all of us, you speak. Even if it's hard. Even if you're scared." She paused, then added, "Silence in the face of truth isn't innocence, it's avoidance. And avoidance hurts people." Lily looked down, shame burning her cheeks. Mum stood up. "Because of your choice tonight, your father and I had our worst argument in years. That can't go without consequence." Lily's breath hitched. What are you going to do?" Mum met her eyes. "You know what we do in this family when trust is broken by omission. Go to your room. I'll be up in 5 minutes." Lily's stomach twisted. She nodded silently and walked upstairs, each step heavier than the last. Lily's childhood room hadn't changed much: pastel walls, bookshelf full of old YA novels, a framed photo of her at 16 on a school trip to Bath. She sat on the edge of the bed, twisting the hem of her lavender t-shirt, heart racing. She heard her mum's footsteps on the stairs. The door opened softly. Mum entered holding the wooden hairbrush, dark cherrywood, smooth from years of use, kept in the top drawer of her dressing table. It had only been used a handful of times in Lily's life, always for serious matters: lying, stealing, willful cruelty. Never for accidents. Never for ordinary teenage mistakes. "This isn't about punishment because I'm angry," Mum said, standing in front of her. "It's about correction. About making sure you feel the weight of what silence cost tonight." Lily nodded, tears spilling over. "Stand up," Mum said gently. Lily rose. Her jeans felt stiff, her t-shirt too thin. "Bend over the bed. Hands on the pillow." Lily obeyed, her cheek resting against the floral duvet. She squeezed her eyes shut. The first stroke landed with a firm thwack. Not brutal, but unmistakable. Lily gasped, then bit her lip. The second came steadily, then the third. Each one was deliberate, measured, not rushed. The sting bloomed across her backside, sharp and warm, but it was the emotional weight that hurt more, the knowledge that this was her fault. By the sixth stroke, she was crying quietly, shoulders shaking. Mum paused. "Do you understand why this is happening?" "Yes," Lily sobbed. "I should have spoken up. I should have told you I heard you. And why didn't you?" "Because I didn't want to make things worse," her voice broke. "But I did. I made it so much worse." Mum delivered 2 more strokes, softer now, then set the brush aside. She helped Lily sit up and pulled her into a tight hug. Lily buried her face in her mum's shoulder, crying in earnest now, not from pain, but from regret, relief, and love. "You're still my good girl," Mum whispered. "But even good girls have to learn hard lessons sometimes." Later that night, Lily lay in bed, The sting long faded, but the feeling lingering, a quiet ache of remorse. She stared at the ceiling, replaying every moment. She thought of her dad's wounded expression. Her mum's exhausted sigh. The way the house had gone from warm to icy in minutes. She hadn't just withheld information, she'd withheld herself. Her voice. Her trust. Her presence. She rolled onto her side, reaching for her notebook on the nightstand. In the dim glow of her phone light, she wrote, "Silence isn't peace. It's abandonment. I thought I was protecting them, but I left them alone in the dark, turning on each other. Never again." She traced the words with her finger, promising herself she'd keep them. Morning arrived with golden light spilling through the curtains. The house smelled of coffee and toast. Lily came downstairs in the same lavender t-shirt, now slightly wrinkled, but with jeans freshly washed. She found her parents at the kitchen table, sipping tea in quiet companionship. She took a deep breath and walked in. "I'm sorry," she said, voice clear and steady, "for not speaking up. For letting you both think the worst of each other. I should have said I heard you. I should have asked questions. I won't hide behind silence again." Her dad looked up. For a long moment, he just studied her, then nodded slowly. "Thank you," he said simply. He pushed the toast rack toward her. "Last slice." Mum smiled, eyes shiny. "We've decided we're not touching your fund. We'll manage. But next time, we talk together. All three of us." Lily sat down, heart lighter than it had been in days. Later, as she packed her weekend bag to return to Exeter, her mum handed her a small container of homemade lemon drizzle cake. "For your flatmates." Lily hugged her tightly. "Thanks, Mum." On the train back to university, she texted her best friend, "Went home thinking I'd fix nothing. Came back knowing my voice matters even when it shakes." Outside the window, the British countryside rolled by green fields, stone cottages, grey skies streaked with sun. And inside, Lily sat straighter, quieter but not silent, carrying a new kind of courage home with her.